today I'm going to be showing you my makeup routine for what I usually use on an everyday basis, and I'm going to start right away because I want to be able to get it up without editing it, hopefully. I'm starting off by using Moisture Foundation by The Body Shop, and it's got an SPF of 15 because I'm going out today. Oh, one pump is way too much for me. I think if I just rub it in. I'm applying it with my hands because this is what I tend to do anyway. I've got brushes. I'll show you what I usually do. I'll usually use the F8 to take it down the neck here. I'll usually use the F8 to buff in at the edges. God, this is strange doing it like this because I'm looking in the viewfinder, as you can probably tell. Now, to buff that in, I'm going to use my Sigma F8. Oh my god, I've got foundation all over me. I don't usually use this much. I'm going for the Moisture Foundation because it is quite a light coverage. I was going to use my number 7 tinted moisturiser, which is this. It's a triple protection tinted moisturiser. It's got an SPF in it because that's what I tend to go for on an everyday basis, but because I'm going out today, make sure you really buff it in at the hairline. Push it into the hairline so you haven't got a line. At this point you are only taking the residue on the brush, so you're not going to be pushing big chunks of foundation into your hair. Then we're taking that around the jawline and down the neck and round the back of the ear like that. You can even buff some onto the ear because you're not going to be buffing loads on there. And round this area, I find I buff a lot around here because I do get dry skin. That's another reason why I use moisturising foundations, and I tend to go for tinted moisturisers. Now I'm going to be applying erase paste under the eyes. It's a salmon. It's a salmon tinted concealer and works brilliantly at diminishing them dark circles. I usually take it up into the inner corner here. I do suffer with dark circles pretty badly, as you can probably tell. Here come the silly faces. And then I'm going to take this Sigma E40 and just go over that with a little circular buffing motion. You can apply it like this, but I find with the erase paste being so creamy that it just sticks to the brush and makes a mess. I'm going to go over that with powder flage. That's brightened up the under eye area a treat. Now you go in any areas. I'm using MAC Select Moisture Cover concealer around the nose and a little bit on the chin in this area and this area where I tend to have a little bit of scarring. And then just tap that in. You can always use your fluffy brush at this point. I'm just using this as like a little bit of extra coverage, yeah, because it is a really it's a really moisturising concealer, so it's like you can use it as like a little bit of extra coverage, like a foundation. If it wasn't so expensive, I'd probably use it as a foundation. Now, just to set all that, because I don't like using powder, I'm going to take my large powder F20 brush, also by Sigma. As you can probably tell, I like Sigma brushes. I do have MAC brushes, but I tend to reach for the Sigma ones. And I've got a sample of MAC's Prep and Prime. I'm just going to powder the T-zone. I like to go for a dewy finish, so I'm not going to powder everywhere. I mean, to be honest, there's not that much area left when you've powdered your T-zone. But now I'm going to take my MAC Wonder Woman in Pink Power, and I'm going to take my Real Techniques brush, contour brush, contour brush, because this is a perfect size just to fit in that foundation. Tap off, and I also go on the back of the hand because I'm so fair. And I'm using this not just as a contour, I'm using it where the sun would usually hit you. This side, by the way, is in the dark. This side's got more light coming in on it, so this might look a little bit darker on this side. And this side might be a bit more washed out, but I guarantee you they're both the same. Whoops. There goes my brush pot. I do this just for a flush of colour all over the face. Not much, because we've been so fair it looks silly. As you can probably tell, there's really it's not that noticeable at all. Then I'm going to take my blusher in Perfectly Peach by Revlon. It's one of the Revlon matte, and I've got the large angle contour F40. Just dip it in there, pick up your product. You can always tap off on the back of the hand like I do, and then we're applying to just this area here. If you smile slightly, not smile massively. Mad woman. We're just applying to the cheekbone. I tend to not want lots of colour here because, I don't know, I think it looks a lot more youthful to just have it going up the side here. God, I've only just realised this brush stinks. It smells like a farm. Like I have, it's goat hair I think, so I think that would explain it. With the same brush, I'm not going to bother using a new brush. I'm going to, in fact, I'll use the contour brush. I'm going to take some of the Body Shop bronze shade, some of the Body Shop bronzer in Warm Glow. I wouldn't call this, oh dear, I wouldn't call this a bronzer. Got an itch on my nose. I wouldn't call this a bronzer because it is very, very shimmery. It's more like a mineralised skin finish. So it's more like an highlighter. So I'm going to take that and place it on the top cheekbones and then just blend it in with my finger. And again. That's what I do. If I can't tell with the light, I tend to shade both sides of my face and see if it's right, but it's really hard to tell in this light, but I'm sure it's fine. Then I'm going to take MAC's Painterly Paint Pot.